Thank you so much, everybody, for being here with us tonight on Folk and Myth for Ysterra, the Far Horizon. Ian, would you please offer up a recap of the events of our previous episode?
Best friend, it's been a long week. Let me just start off by saying that. And honestly, even longer for the people on the boat. So, right, we'll fast forward a little bit. Wren went missing. Not really went missing. They were kidnapped by the cultists, acolytes. I don't know the proper term. I've never been a part of a publicly recognized cult. So you take it as what it is. So, woo. So, obviously, right? Brent's freaking out. He's the captain. He doesn't want to lose somebody in general, but let alone it be somebody as dope as Wren. So we get a mob together, and we're gonna go and we're gonna hit that cave. Now, can you remind me the name of our wonderful blue dragon again? You said it earlier. I want to say Testaros. Terathos. We bring Terathos over there with this big, strong, mighty paladin doing this thing. We go into the cave. They're all surrounding what, honestly, I'm going to be for real with y'all, magical butthole. No other way to describe it. So here we are, going in, trying to find our friend. They're all doing the thing, shark bait, ooh ha ha, praising the butthole, as one does sometimes. And we don't see Wren. We're standing in the exact same spot where the cage was at. No Wren, no nothing. Not a note, not an IOU. Mind you, these dudes are still chanting around. There's some rumblings going on. Mira's not doing well, hands like this. 80, probably freaking out because there's all a bunch of emotions running around. And then Sisk, well, you know, Sisk is the vibes. So... and then Tig hung out with us too. Not really hung out, but fought with us. But we got big buff Tig. So now Tig's kind of just like moving around. So there's no other way but to push forward. So we get to fighting. DD Dice doing its thing, right? Some good, some bad, mostly bad for your boy. I got one good hit. But what was interesting is as we were knocking down cultists, acolytes, again, I don't know, never been part of a cult, allegedly. Sisk noticed that these people are possessed, mind controlled, compelled. And so now Sis goes into what Sis does and just starts caring for these folks. Bryn, not about it. You took one of mine, I'm taking all of yours. Mira and 80 doing their thing. Mira's having trouble because, of course, she's been afflicted, so things are going off, things aren't going off, but then she gets a good hit, but then all of a sudden her hand hurts again. And then all of a sudden, 80 decides that she wants to go Phoenix once again. But the difference is she had a little bit more control this time. So again, here we are, cage, magical butthole, acolytes, cultists, we don't know, chanting, doing their thing. And now we got the Dark Phoenix over here messing around. It's a whole lot of. Let me just tell you that. We get lucky enough to where we knock them out. One of them jumps in the butthole, right? For the good of Cthulhu or whatever. We don't know. Still no Wren. No sign of them. So now Brent's freaking out. He's one-track mind. He starts looking. He passes up Phoenix 80 and freaks out about that too, but he's got too much going on. That is a tomorrow Brent problem. This is a today Brent problem because he's still missing a crewmate. So him and that beautiful blue dragon paladin, Terathos, go and we start searching. Brent starts to get feral. Going down the caves, looking, he can smell it, he can feel it, but he can't see Wren until he's presented with Wren's broken bow, which is where it leaves us, best friend, right now. All they heard was Brent freak out. He saw a broken bow, beautiful shiny blue paladin, large magical butthole, cultists, acolytes, whatever. Again, allegedly never been a part of an established cult group ever. It's a whole lot of best friend. But you know what? You made it. You made it to another Wednesday. And we're going to see what's going on. How's your mama? It's good.
Allegedly not part of a cult. Just clarifying.
Allegedly.
Just clarifying.
Yeah, allegedly.
Thank you so much, Ian. Kay, does that mean you're next? For recaps?
I mean, I could be. I'll do it again, sure.
I mean, I think we can make Beth do it. We gang up on Beth. Anybody? Any votes?
I'll do it.
All right, there we go. Votes for Beth. Beth's got it.
Sorry,
Look
Kay,
how quickly our hands rose.
I know, right?
Oh, this is fun because we're off next week, so it's going to be
You'll have
extra
2 weeks
special.
to prepare. Hopefully, you take good notes.
Hopefully.
Thank you so much for that recap, Ian. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are picking up right where we left off with Wren being handed the 2 fragments of Wren's bow. Ian, as Bren utters out this feral howl that echoes through the chambers, I'm going to give you the first opportunity here to take an action. What is it that you think Bren would do in this moment?
I think he would immediately go in the direction to where he saw them come with the bow, like hoping that there's something else, anything else.
The room behind Terathos that he had been investigating, certainly. As you step into that room, go ahead and make a perception check. And because of... Well, you know what? I was going to give you disadvantage on it. But I think it's going to end up being a straight roll because you did say how focused you are on specifically finding Wren. So we'll just call it a straight roll.
It's a 14.
I saw it briefly drop on that 17 and then flip over to the 8.
Yeah.
So 14 total?
Yes.
14 is pretty good. 14 is certainly good enough for you to easily take in a couple of facts very quickly. The first fact is that there is no living creatures in that room besides yourself. None that you can see anyway. There's no cage, none of that. You do see a bed, decently appointed bed, like more like the kind of bed that would be found in like a fairly run-of-the-mill roadside tavern. Not some kind of like grandiose canopy bed or anything like that. But there are a number of other things that are a little bit more grandiose. You see several bookshelves that appear to have been torn out of the rock face of the walls. This room very notably was once a mining chamber. Like, you can still see there are marks in the walls from pickaxes and shovels and the like. But whatever this room's purpose used to be, it is now, or at the very least was until recently perhaps, a room dedicated to someone's personal chambers. You see the bookshelves kind of formed, almost magically sundered from the walls themselves, with a few books, scrolls, a couple of random trinkets, and the like. There's a very large desk, fairly comfortable chair next to it, number of writing implements and papers and the like present there. And most importantly, though, your attention is very much drawn to the middle of the room. There's a very large, ornate chest made of some kind of steel and stone, marble, perhaps, in there as well. There's gold and silver mixed in along the edges in a filigree pattern. Very, very sturdy chest. The lid is open, and you see a number of objects already inside of it, books, clothing, and the like. And from your first glance, I think that Bren would be able to put together the fact that whoever was in this room before, they're obviously not here now, but also their things were being packed. Whether by themselves or by someone else, you're not sure. But their things were being packed, for certain. As you take all of that in and you don't see Wren, Terathos steps in behind you and places a hand on your shoulder and simply says,
What?
I'm sorry, my friend. She is not here.
She has to be. This is where I left her. There's no other place that she can go. I can still kind of smell her around Terathos. She has to be here. She may not be in here, but she's here. Here, you know what? This may help us too. And I like haphazardly and frantically cast Find Familiar, try to look for Lila.
So your Find Familiar will allow you to summon your own creature, but you can't summon someone else's.
Reading that, it just said a familiar. It didn't say a familiar of my own.
So Lyra is not a familiar.
Lyra.
Yeah,
Oh,
Lyra is a primal companion, which is a different which is very different kind of creature. What I would allow you to do though is do your familiar, and beckon them to continue searching the rest of the mines. The mine shafts are ostensibly quite large. What does that familiar look like?
Let me just make sure.
While you do that, Terathos kind of nods solemnly to Bren, seeing Bren performing this ritual, because this is not a quick ritual. Like it takes a bit some time to summon the familiar, and simply says,
I will keep searching.
and you see him step back into the chamber, or back into the halls, and he begins summoning his own magic as well.
I'm hoping you'll allow this because it's just more so for narrative and searching purposes. It's a starry version of Star.
Absolutely. So this semi-translucent fey-like version of a pseudo-dragon appears in front of you. It is not Star. You know that intrinsically because of your magic. You know that. Thanks, Varl, for the bits. Everybody has an extra advantage. Appreciate it, my friend. And you give this fey creature the commands to seek out Wren. Because it is part of you, it knows Wren. And so it starts going through the halls. We're going to now switch over to everybody else. There's a couple of minutes of time here in response that will backtrack in response to what you all heard from Bren and what you all were doing yourself. Sisk, this happens like right around the same time that you finish your work on Tig, and Tig's eyes alight once again, and Tig, sits up, Undertaker style, just rises up. What do the rest of you do?
I'm headed to the yell that Bren did, basically.
You start searching the caverns for Bren. What about the twins? It's going to take you a minute to find them because it wasn't like just off down the hall. It was like this is a complex, right? So it takes a bit for you to find him. What do the twins do?
I am still sort of uncertainly looking to 80 for what she's going to do next. I assume that she's still sort of radiating power and confidence. And so I think I am just going to follow wherever she decides she wants to go.
Actually, a good point. Beth, please make a charisma saving throw for me.
Absolutely. 19.
Okay. That's good enough for you to start feeling that start feeling that power diminishing. You have a choice in that you can continue to manifest it. You don't know what it will do, though. This is obviously unknown territory for everyone involved. And so I feel like there might be a certain amount of concern happening within 80 at this moment, but it is your choice what you would like to do.
I think that having gone to Sisk, while still sort of juiced up on sorceress energy, I think that would be grounding. So I think at this point, I'm not leaning into that power any further, but rather sort of just taking a step back. I do think that the confidence is still there, and so I think that I would put my arm around my sister's shoulder, sort of like cradling her elbow from around with her injured hand, and just direct her, come on, we need to go see what's happening.
As you do that, following very shortly after Sisk in their search, you're going to pass near to the hole in the ground. Still writhing with flame, the heat emanating off of it is powerful. Mira, go ahead and roll an Arcana check for me. Ooh.
17.
Still a 17, that's pretty good. You recognize very clearly the confluence of ley lines that is occurring in this exact spot. You actually see a number of arcane runes, very small, inscribed into the rim of this devastating, destructive force. And it is very clear to you that whoever constructed these runes, not only are they a powerfully knowledgeable practitioner of Arcana, they are using the power of the ley lines to harness and control elemental forces from another plane of existence. Such magic is supposed to be impossible in this world. Granted, there are plenty of there's a lot of anecdotal evidence that it is possible. There are a few noted scholars that have claimed to have, seen and done this kind of magic. But the rarity of it hits Mira very hard. The fact that she is seeing it at this moment. And I can't help but wonder if there's an aspect of, given her religious background, if there might be an aspect of how she would wonder or contemplate how this is either gone unnoticed by the Ascendant or is being allowed by them. Before you can really think too heavily about that, though, takes a little bit, but you do manage to find Wren just finishing summoning up the familiar, both in mechanical name as well as what you can see being familiar to you, this spectral fey version of Star that escapes the room and starts searching. You see Terathos actually moving down the hall away from you, and Mira, you can recognize that he has summoned his own divination kind of magic and is using that in search of Wren as well. At least that's what you surmise. You all step into the room, the three of you as well as Tig in tow, And you see Wren, having just finished summoning the familiar, holding the two halves of Wren's bow. The room is exactly as I had described it to all of you. What do you do?
This is what we found, but it doesn't mean that they're not here. They're just not in here. So there's more places. I sent Star to go look a little bit faster, but this doesn't mean anything.
Okay. What now, Captain?
We need to figure out where they could have taken her or them. I just I feel as though the longer that Wren is away, the more in danger they are. Also, I don't know what was happening in here, but it looks like somebody was trying to leave quickly. A lot was thrown into a chest. They were going to obviously escape or hide this information. So whatever that is, we need it. And he points at the chest. I can't read it.
I can give it a try.
If you could, please. That would be good. 80, can I pick your brain for a moment?
Yeah.
Okay. Mira, if you want to do what you can. Sisk, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to help Mira too. There may be something in here that you'll know as well. Yeah, 80, just 1 second. Just want to...
Before you two get into that, Deb, does Mira go over and start investigating the chest where she sees a couple of books sitting?
Yep.
Go ahead and give me a investigation check, please.
My passive is 17.
You can use that if you like.
I would like to.
Passive 17 is good enough for you to notice very clearly that this chest, although the magical runes on it are dormant, which is why Wren did not spot them, there are a number of magical protective wards on this chest. Whoever had been packing them up, or packing it up, had obviously not finished and activated the runes. But whatever is here, which looks to be a number of personal effects, is very important to someone. She reaches down and she scoops up one of the books near to the top. It strikes her because it is leather bound with a few metal braces along its covers in order to keep it more rigid and protected. And it also has no writing anywhere on the outside of it that she can see at an initial glance. She immediately lifts it up into her hands and starts going through a few of the pages, and without any roll necessary, she knows very much that she has a journal in her hands. She goes to the first couple of entries.
A whisper from the last dream. When the shattered horizon darkens enough, the fire of the world will flicker and fade. It is not a warning. It is a promise. The wildfires of this world, hope, rebellion, creation, have always fought the dark, but they burn too quickly, too blindly. We must bind it, wield it as a tempered blade against the darkness that grows wild in response. Let the horizon darken. Let the flame flicker. We will be there with the torch that does not falter. We do not recruit. We reveal. When a soul is ready, we bring them into the shadows, not with chains, not with threats, but with truths. Truths that scrape at the inside of the mind until the light can no longer soothe them. They come to us fractured, yearning, and we remake them. Another one joined us tonight. We blindfolded her and spoke the truths of the deep flame and showed her the world behind the world. She wept, of course. Most do. But tears mean the light is fading. Soon, she will see clearly. Our reach continues to expand. Each waypoint is carefully chosen. A hidden cellar beneath a forgotten shrine, a shadow-cloaked chamber within a mountain, the hollowed roots of a petrified world tree. We carry the flame through these arteries, ferrying those who would awaken from place to place. To the world, they vanish, but they have merely shed their skins. We are mapping the veins of the night. Kuvalia is nearly complete.
As Mira reads these first couple of entries, she is somewhat distraught, obviously, by what she reads. Please make a wisdom saving throw for me.
I'm going to use an advantage.
Okay. Ooh.
Worse.
You get?
That was a 12.
Mira is shaken. Sisk standing there. Sisk, you can see Mira quivering, the pages of the book almost falling out of her hand. You don't know what she's read, but obviously whatever it was disturbing. Going to ask, do you think Sisk would intervene in this moment and perhaps try to take the book from Mira?
Yeah, at least like pushing it down and like trying to to hold her and
As
give her
you
a hug.
Reach for the book and try pushing it away, Mira shifts away from you, forcing the book out of your touch, and immediately starts flipping through the pages, compelled to find the most recent entries in the book.
The sky holds promise. Not the stars and moons, they are liars. Not the suns, they burn too bright to see the truth. But ships, airships, drifting between cities without need for gates or guards or checkpoints, that is a vessel of true expansion. Already we eye the foreign vessel that has arrived. Its design is basic, but the possibilities are endless. No roads, no permissions, no questions. The potential of shadow to ride the wind is enticing. The corrupted sight was effective. The flame-touched light-bearer suffered more than expected. Her pain sings through the crystal now, a resonance we can still hear. Curious, perhaps the fortune was stronger than we knew. We will not destroy the sight. It will serve again. The elven woman is in our care now. Strong, proud, so sure of her light. They always resist at first, but time is our ally. Pain loosens the mind. Isolation lets the shadow consume. She will forget her name. She will forget her cause. And then, like all others, she will kneel before the night flame. The war of shadow will have another warrior before the world's end.
Deb, in response to reading that, please describe for me what Mira does and how this affects her.
She closes the book almost with reverence. And I think Sisk is probably the one that's closest, and she can see pure rage in Mira's eyes and determination. She is full of a righteous fury that she's never felt before. And she just turns and looks each of her companions in the eyes. We have to stop them.
Now, the rest of you, it is worth mentioning, have not read these journal entries. So you don't know that SJ.McKeen was responsible for helping make those videos just then. It's a huge shout out to Steve, SJ.McKeen, for the awesome last minute, and I shit you not last minute, audio, providing me with amazing voiceover for that. Ian and Beth, I don't feel like 80 and Bran got to the point that they were about to get to with their conversation. Mira is a very fast reader. I feel like that happened in a very short amount of time for reading through that. And so I think we'll have to put a pin in whatever roleplay you are about to do, if you don't mind, as you all hear what Mira says and can see visibly. For what it's worth, Deb, Mira currently has the frightened condition. And I don't think that she knows when that will go away.
I just think it's just what's happening now.
I don't know. Mira, what's happening?
They want our ship. They want to turn Wren into some sort of dark warrior. They have plans beyond what I think anyone has imagined.
Who is they?
These cultists. There's more of them.
Okay. Sorry, my nose itches. It does and you can see Brent is getting frustrated because it feels like we're wasting time. And he's like, is there anything in there that could direct us?
It just says that they have Wren in their care, and they're gonna try and break her.
Is Mira at this point? We can see that Mira's like shaken, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think Bren moves from where 80 is and goes over to Mira past King Sisk, and he puts his hands on her shoulders and he's just like, "What is going on with you? What's happening? What did you read? Why are you acting like this?"
She with more force than you expect, pushes you away and immediately starts composing a sending to Phelan that says, protect the ship. Do whatever you have to. They're coming.
So just mechanically wise, we need to establish that requires you to pull out your book and immediately start writing something. What do you do with the other book? Do you shove it at Bren?
No, I hold on to it and stack my book on top of it.
How does Bren react? Because it takes a sec to compose the writing. It's not like a normal sending spell that you just do in an action. This is, it's more involved.
I think he knows about like that skill, and he's just like, hold on, here, I'm sorry. And then he tries to reach for the other book to kind of like relieve of anything.
Don't
go. What?
We'll deal with this later. We need to find Wren.
Don't what? And then looks at 80.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with the book. Does it have anything that helps us right now, Mira, or do we have to make a plan without it?
She's gonna try and flip through as soon as the sending is done to see if there's any other information.
There's a lot of information in the book. Just in flipping through pages, you see names, people, places, things. You see more detailed entries about activities taking place, and all of it is colored and flavored in that same cultist undertones and overtones, to be perfectly honest.
Not subtext.
There's a ton there. I feel like it would also occur. Actually, two things are going to happen here. Because Mira failed that saving throw, I feel like that there's a certain aspect of, how when you read a book sometimes and you're really engrossed in it, you can potentially start reading words out loud. I feel like Mira does that in this moment. Whether or not she's done it before in the past or does it all the time or not, as she is flipping through these pages and she's reading some of these things and she's saying some of these words, all of you start to feel that rising tension within you about it.
I see.
There's a certain element here for UK, for Sisk especially, because one of the words that comes up over and over again is control. And then, in addition to that, Mira, you see a written response, because Phelan's response comes back to you in writing form under the words that you wrote. You see Phelan's handwriting. We are being watchful. Everyone is safe for now. Are you okay?
Haven't found Wren. We're fine for now.
Mira, I'm sorry to be questioning you like this. You're not. I think I might be able to help you a little bit. And I'll cast heroism on you.
That immediately has the intended effect of the fear going away. And I think with that fear comes a great deal of clarity for Mira, in that her friends are only getting tidbits of the knowledge that she has. They need to see it too. Now, she does know that Sisk can read this book as well.
Well, I'll say, you were talking a little bit out loud. It's making me sick. I don't know if we can all handle what that book has. These cultists, the Kurakash or whatever, we need more on them, where they located this book. This person is not going to talk about themselves in third person, most likely. So we need to find out who these people are, how deep this goes, how wide this is throughout Kuvalia. We've heard it's like a few people here and there, but
It's so much more than that. And I'll hand Sisk the book.
okay.
Sisk, you recognize everything that I had described before. Do you read the journal entries?
I'll take a sec. If I can try to protect myself from what happened to you, but you're gonna go back to that soon anyway. I don't want you to be scared.
It'll be all right. Do what you need to.
Okay, I'm gonna cast heroism now on myself to be brave, and I'm gonna try to flip through as much as I can before it wears off.
In particular, you do exactly what Mira did, because it's the sensible thing. You start at the beginning. You read those first journal entries. There's also something for you. Go ahead and give me an insight check, please.
Ooh, okay. Oh, that's my disadvantage trait. I will use one of my lovely advantages that I think Varl gave us with
Good call.
hits.
Good call.
So that I'm at least rolling straight.
To answer chat, the paladin is doing what Wren wanted and is searching the rest of the chambers of this vast mining complex for Wren. Paladin is not here. What'd you get total, K?
I got a 14.
Okay. 14 is enough for you to figure something out immediately. As you read through, you are bracing yourself for whatever words it was that affected Mira so much. And you used your protective magic to shield you from that fear. You realize that it wasn't necessary for you. There's a certain element to this that is familiar. There's a certain element to this that reminds Sisk of their time in the Imperium. And in a way, that horrible part of Sisk's past is kind of shielding them, inuring them to horribleness of the words that they read. They read the first few journal entries. They skip to the last and see the most recent and see what Mira was so shaken about with the information there explicitly about you, all of you. And you start skimming through, and there's a lot there to be had. What do you do?
It's gonna take some time to parse this. I don't think I needed to cast anything on myself to read this sucker, but it's gonna take time. So if we should, one, get out of here, because I can hear that hole in the ground on fire from here. I could find if Teratos found anything.
Yes. Let's continue looking for our friend. Is okay, and then he just leaves. Like there was a lot of like attempting to say something, but everything that popped in his head was going to be mean, for lack of a better term. So he just went, "I'm leaving." Leaves the room.
Right.
I think Mira looks at Sisk and just says, that hole, there are runes. It's almost impossible magic. I can't imagine the Ascendant being unaware of it. We stumbled into something bigger than we can handle.
I mean, chosen or Loomis, I feel like Loomis is expecting you to handle big things.
Mira, please make a perception check for me.
$16.
Feels the inside pocket of her tunic where she keeps the crystal of Orlumus warm immediately after Sisk says that. Doesn't burn, doesn't get scalding hot or anything like that. It warms with a calming presence. And just for narrative's sake, we're going to say that this is around the time that the heroism wears off. And although she feels that fear return, it's at the periphery of her mind now, rather than the front of her mind. What is 80 doing now in response to all of these events? Because I feel like, Beth, you haven't really given us a clue as to what's going on with 80.
She is, she's trying to separate out everyone's emotions. They had all sort of coagulated when she was leaning into her powers. She could still like parse out who was feeling what, but it just was sort of this like ball of other people's emotions, and she was sort of woven within it. And so now, having sort of come down from that, I think she's trying to understand what everyone is feeling and why, and she's confused because she hasn't read what they've just read. She's trying to do what she always has to do when Mira has read something and is like assuming that she's like up to speed and just keeps going. So she's trying to fill in the gaps there. She is she sees how frustrated Wren is and how eager he is to continue on and start searching for Wren. She's also still like strangely a little bit miffed at him for reasons that she can't quite figure out. Just dad stuff, you know. And so I think she's just sort of like trying to keep everything in line in her mind and with the her like emotional abilities, and with that she just sort of looks around to everyone and then finally stops and looks at Sisk. So what do we do now? Are we supposed to keep looking? Are we supposed to leave this place? What do we do?
We're gonna finish like this place where I'm sure Therathos and Bren are almost done searching it by now. If not, we'll do what we can. We'll clear this place. It looks like they've already upped and left whoever was important. I think that we need to, we have a small network already. We need to find out who knows more. Who knows more about the Korakash, this underground bullshit. We could talk to Ysterra, we could talk to Ganthel Rook, we could talk to one of the temples. But
and it said that they want our airship, so do we go back there? I'm trying to piece it all together. There's just a lot happening right now. So I'll follow you.
I will give 80 a brief, as least scary as possible rundown of the things that I read.
Sure.
I would be very interested. I would be very interested to see, Kay, how you summarize that. But I'm not going to make you do that on stream.
Perfect. I'll write something later.
but could you just a little bit? No, I get it.
Deb, do me a favor and roll another Arcana check, please.
$17.
I feel like Mira, in hearing Sisk say what Sisk said, would be able to understand. It might take a moment of thinking about it, but would still be able to put it together. Whoever wrote this, whoever created the runes on that pit of fire, that was not anyone that you fought. If you had attempted in this moment, I feel like anyway that Mira would believe that if she had fought magically the person who had created that pit of fire and those runes, much more severe and potent magic would have come out of that person.
I don't think we've found the person who wrote this. I think there is power that we haven't seen yet.
I think we are very much out of the pot and into the coals. We've traded one terrible group of people for another. This seems to be a little bit more on the shadow side of operations, but I wish I had known. I wouldn't have brought you guys here.
It's not... You didn't know. How would you have known?
I don't know. I should have.
Big immediately moves over to Sisk and just like metal arms, metal hands on shoulders, and like starts squeezing Sisk, probably just a hair too tightly.
Yeah.
Just like hug. Trying desperately to, hug the pain away.
Anymore. It's distracting, at least. Yeah. Get off of me, Tin Man. Okay. All right. So let's finish. Well, maybe I'll run around, finish looking up at the place, and maybe to get back into town, back onto the ship, or I don't know, start coming up with a plan of who we're gonna talk to and what we're gonna ask. Do we want to do it subtly, or just be like, "Hey, Ganthel Rook, give us all you've got on the Korakash"?
I mean, I think a little more tact than that might be. We'll figure it out.
We'll workshop it. But
is Ganthel Rook our best option? I think we should probably talk to Terathos. He knows more about the Korakash, I think. And I would like to go back maybe if we have time and talk to Kelisnor.
That's a good point. And Terathos hates these guys, so who would know more?
Yeah.
Speaking of Terathos, Wren, doesn't take you very long to catch up to Terathos. Within a couple of minutes of leaving the chamber, you catch up to him, and you can see that he's actually walking back towards the chamber at this point. He still has this small sphere of magic kind of clutched between the claws of his hand. I feel like Wren is aware enough of magic to recognize something divination related, even if he can't necessarily figure out exactly what it is. So he would know that there's some kind of divination thing happening there. But he can very plainly see on Terathos' face sadness as he approaches Wren and says, "She is not here, my friend. I'm sorry. No. This chamber, this mine, may go very deep. But this magic that I use to try to find those in need does not lie. They have taken her from this place. Where to, I know not. Did you find anything?"
No. we found books. The Mira read the books, and no, we didn't find anything. Thank you for helping us back there and with looking for a friend.
Of course. Perhaps I can be of assistance again in what you found. There are few who know the Korakash as I do. In so much that I know more than most, but many know nothing. But I am very willing to try.
We don't know anything. Yes, actually, yeah, let's go back to them and Mira and Sis can tell you what they read, and hopefully you could put something together for us.
Gladly, my friend. And as the two of you start walking back, a spectral familiar flies and lands upon Wren's shoulders, curls up into a tight little tiny ball, tail hooked around Wren's neck. And you can feel in the mental connection that you have with the familiar pure sadness that they were not able to fulfill the task that you summoned them to do.
It's all right. Thank you for your help anyway. And I think in that moment he just dispels that, like
the magic wafts away. Stars of moonlight drift out into 100 different directions simultaneously as the creature is unsummoned. Ian, I need for you to make a charisma saving throw, please.
Okay. I'd like to use an advantage.
Okay.
Good. 15.
15's pretty good. But in this instance, it wasn't enough. Ian, there's a moment here where Wren loses time. Wren is going to continue walking and following Terathos back to the chamber. But no words are spoken between them, at least none that Bren can remember anyway. Because Bren feels himself instantly transported to another place, another time, somewhere else, on top of a mountain, surrounded by trees. A cascade of gray, blue, violet, and red colors. Beams of light drifting through the canopies of the trees, amongst the limbs, through the boughs. Blinding in a way, but more than that, overpowering emotionally. Wren looks around. He sees his kin. He doesn't recognize them, but he knows that they are his kin. People of all shapes, sizes, and colors. Their faces are clear and yet distorted. They are gathered in a circle of a kind. Summoning circle, perhaps? A magic circle, certainly. There's an incantation being spoken by everyone, including Wren. And as he looks down at his hands, they are not his. Skin is much darker. They are not his, and yet they are his. He falters in the incantation. A couple of others falter as well in response. The magic taking place, the light drifting throughout, changes and starts to fragment and fracture and fall apart. A hand is placed on Bren's shoulder, and he hears a voice. His mother? Voice is not his mother, and yet he feels his mother saying to him, "It's okay, Laurent. We will start again." And then snapping back, Wren stands in the doorway. Terathos walking into the room. Bren has no idea how he got to standing in this spot. He has no idea what just happened. But here he is. Beth, could you please make a emotional perception check?
Sure.
Should be easy.
I guess it would be
DC.
it's insight for you when you do this, right? It's your emotion sense thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, insight check.
With the advantage? Okay.
Yep.
That's a 12. I'll use an advantage. Hey. Cool.
Just in time.
I have so many. I'll use an advantage.
Okay.
Well, fuck me. That's all we're doing. So.
I think that's the dice trying
14.
to tell you something. 14.
Uh-huh.
Ian, can you tell me if you think Bren would have the mental acuity in this moment to be shielding his emotional thoughts, his emotions, his feelings from what just happened?
No, if it would have to be really quick though, because I think in that moment to where he comes back to and he's standing in front of the room and he has no recollection.
In this moment, the reason that I'm asking it in this way is because it's extremely powerful what just happened. And so before
No.
Bren can get a chance to get it under control, what does 80 feel, emotions-wise, from Bren?
The biggest one is confusion. And then right under that is a very small bit of comfort that's lingering from that entire moment. Those are the two things that are like pushing through.
I'll look to Bren. You all right?
Yeah. It's just, I think I'm getting tired. And I think whatever you just felt just immediately like shuts off. I think I'm just tired. So Wren isn't here. There's no question. We don't know where she is or where they took her. But they're not here.
As Terathos was kind of leading into the room, Terathos more immediately approaches Sisk and Mira because they possess books. And that's what, he had been told. And so as Terathos comes into the room, he just kind of, with that same assuredness that he has so often had as you have, interacted with them, he says, "You have found things that belong to the Kuragash. What have you found?"
A journal. It has names and.
As soon as you say journal,
places.
like you can tell immediately his eyes go wide. There is a shock on his face. He already he has a natural kind of hard to read kind of expression, and so the notion that you can immediately and instantly read him stands out. And he just immediately holds up a hand, and there's a small shake to the hand as he says, "You found their writings."
Yes.
You have no idea what this means to me. What this will mean to so many people. Please, may I? He holds out his hand.
I think I'm still holding on to the book, and I want to make eye contact with Mira. Be like, do we want to? What?
The Spock eyebrow goes up.
Yeah.
Honestly, if we were to do it, to give it to anybody, this is the guy.
Yeah.
Bryn says from the door, "This is the guy."
This is the
honestly.
guy. Perfect. I will hand it over.
As you hand him the book, he holds it kind of in a similar way to what Mira had done after she read it, with a reverence. It's not in the same way that one might hold a holy book, but he has a deep respect for what he holds in his hand right now. And he flips open a few pages and he starts reading. You can see from the expressions that change upon his face how bad it is, in the same way that you all interpreted. And he starts reading through some additional pages towards, the middle of the book and whatnot. You see some sparks occur in his nostrils. Small amount of ozone-like smoke drift up out of the corners of his mouth. It obviously angers him, whatever he just read. And eventually he does like all of you did, and flips to the back. Then he slams the book shut, holding it sandwiched between both of his large, scaled hands. And he turns and looks to all of you, and he says, "This will uncover many things. We can use this. We have been trying to root out who these people are for a long time. I will see them undone before I reach my end. And certainly before the world reaches its end.
The right guy.
I must ask all of you a question now. I know that this may not be what you are able to do. But in this moment, I feel like your purpose, your direction, aligns with mine in this moment. Will you help me bring an end to these? I dare not call them people any longer. An end to this cult.
I will.
Well, yeah,
Absolutely.
obviously.
Yes.
Sisk just kind of shrugs. At the exact same moment that Sisk shrugs, Tig just kind of...
They're in too. You're in. You're in.
I feel like...
I'm in my Tig.
And Tig just kind of does that same hand gesture in the direction of Sisk. This will not be quick. This will take time to decipher, and I could use your help. And he kind of turns and looks at Mira as he says that. I know that your friend is in danger. But I must also tell you that whatever happens to her, though it will be painful, a lot of it will rely on her strength of will. How strong she is deep within her core. Do you think that she can survive their machinations long enough for us to find her?
Yeah. If anything, Wren is probably the strongest out of all of us when it comes to will. So, although I think we shouldn't take our time, I think she's strong enough to allow us to figure some more things out.
I will not ask you to take an oath with me on this. That is not for others to do so lightly. But I have sworn oaths in my life for many things. I swear to you now, on my oath, that as we crush the Kurakash, we will find and free your friend. I swear it.
Thank you. That's extremely generous of you to do. And if there's, and he kind of looks at the rest of them, but he goes, I'm going to do a captain thing. If there is a boon that we can offer you after all of this, we are open to discussion for what that is.
He just holds up a clawed hand in a not placating manner, but in a it's okay, type of gesture. We will have many discussions in the future, my friend.
So,
you should know that we have encountered cultists before. I think there may be an opportunity And he kind of looks between 80, Mira, and Sisk. And pointedly not Bren.
For you to help someone who was once of this cult. We have tried desperately to remove the domination that is clouding his mind. Unsuccessfully. So your magic may help. And also, if you can offer him something to guide him to a lucid moment, perhaps he can help us with some of this.
And he holds up the book.
We should return to the city. I will.
He kind of looks around at the room.
I will ensure that the temple claims this space, frees it from its unholy curse.
Are they going to be able to do something about that pit? Like, it feels like that's a big part of this too.
That is more Kelesnor's realm than mine. But I can promise you that if it can be closed, Kelesnor will see that it is.
Okay.
Ripley!
Look, it's Kelesnor. Okay. I feel like that should be probably one of the main things to focus on if you're going to, I guess, reclaim and maybe cleanse this space, because it seems as though that those people that we were fighting may have been affected by that too. You show them pets.
I have a scroll that I can send a message to my priest and let him know what has transpired and to send aid. But we should start our journey back now. What will you do next? I will tell you that I will return to the temple. I will prepare the man that I mentioned if you wish to talk to him. But what will you do next? Is there any aid I can offer? As Shugo or as Terethos?
Honestly, I think the next thing that we probably should do is get back to the ship to make sure everyone's okay. Especially if we were told, or it was mentioned, that the ship is a thing, like from the books, right? Like out loud.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. That should probably be the next, because if they're not here, they could be anywhere, and if they know that we're here, that's a problem.
Does Mira mention anything about her sending?
I sent a message to Phelan to be on alert, so they at least are keeping watch.
Okay. No, do you think that would be enough for right now? Maybe we can go do something while Phelan is keeping watch.
What do you have in mind?
To what to do instead of not going to the ship?
Yeah.
We can go to the temple. see if we can get more information from there. We can has anybody messaged Gathelrook to see if they know anything? You all are making that face again. What?
I mean, no, I mentioned maybe going to see Gathelrook. I think I could use a little bit of Gathelrook's vibe right now. Kind of have some tea with an old man.
I don't know how much he might know on his own, but he seems to be able to point us in the right direction occasionally. So if you're, itching for some time and tea with the old man, then why not?
Speaking of why not,
honestly,
thanks, Patrick, for the bits. Canadian Ancient Gamer coming in with some bits.
What's up?
Appreciate it, my friend.
Terathos, to what extent do people in Cavalia know about the Kurakash?
Most citizens believe them to be a myth. Most think of them as some figment meant to scare children. They do not understand the people that have gone missing, whom I believe, and many others believe, the Kurakash are responsible for taking. This book is proof. This book will help get people to understand this threat and hopefully do something about it finally.
Will it endanger anyone to speak
Yes.
of the Kurakash?
Most certainly it will. But frankly, these lands have been not the same for some time now. And although I cannot shape the society that we are becoming, I can at least deal with this ember burning at the heart of it and snuff it into the ground to ash.
I think there's a moment here, particularly for 80, and maybe even filtering through the connection to Mira, where you finally comprehend just how much Terathos feels with this.
My friend, we'll do what needs to be done. We aren't all warriors, but
You are
obviously we
warrior
know-
enough. I saw the magic that you wield. That is no small feat. I saw how you undid the magic that the cultist attempted to use upon me. You and your sister, you are warriors.
Well, we're on your side, so whatever you need, whoever you think we need to talk to, we've got some connections, but you can count on us.
I am pleased. Thank you. I would suggest perhaps doing a glance through and seeing if there's anything else to return to the temple with now. But Given the runes upon that chest, I am worried of what other protections there might be. I leave it to you, but I think that we should leave quickly.
There's no, like, disagreeing from Bren. He's like, well, let's go.
Is the chest something we can take with us, or is it empty? I can't.
Oh no, that chest is massive. Like Terathos would struggle carrying that chest.
Could I take 10 minutes to summon a floating disc?
Floating discs, 500 pounds limit, right?
Yes.
Would not be enough.
Damn.
This thing is more than 500 pounds.
The chest itself is nearly 1,000.
Jeez, why? Oh, okay.
I said it's made of steel and marble and massive.
Okay, well.
We're not talking about like a simple, like, gold chest that has a few thousand gold in it here, guys. We're talking about like an enormous chest, like 7 feet wide, 4 feet deep, 4 feet deep backwards, and then another 4 feet deep down. Like, it's massive.
So is there anything else in here? Like in the big old chest?
You can start looking around if you want.
I guess I'm asking on an above table thing. Like, is it? You know what? Screw it. Investigation.
Hey, I will tell you, above table, Terathos did mention wards and protective magics. You already know that there are wards and protective magics that are dormant on the chest right now. That doesn't mean that the rest of the room is not protected.
Okay. All right, y'all.
Just GM helping out a brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm just gonna go walk around the room then, see what I can find.
Do you remember the last time somebody touched something shiny?
I also remember somebody being told not to do it, and they said, "Fuck it." So
exactly, learn from their mistakes.
Nah, that's why we play games. I would like to see if there's other things.
Yes, and
give me an investigation.
Yes, and
Cool.
A knock spell wouldn't be enough to open the chest, I'm assuming.
The chest is unlocked and open.
Oh,
it has a lot of
open. Why am I not?
It's got a lot of personal effects in it.
Nice
I'm gonna
things.
use an advantage. I really want to know what's in here. And it was even the same. I don't want to be here with the DD dice. I would like to be here. It's just DD dice is the problem.
You just need a more powerful cleansing ritual. Your ritual needs work. Your ritual needs work.
I have a table on my patio.
No,
that
your
gets
ritual
and it's set out there.
Needs work, Ian.
I guess it's just I'll figure something out.
Yeah. So
Does
Ian,
a 10 get me anything?
Yes, it does. In fact, you need to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. What was that? Now, come on. You got to give me a re-roll on this.
You got advantages if you want to. You can use them.
Miko, look at how that dice landed, bro.
I didn't see anything wrong with the dice itself, other than the fact that it said 2. I think you've got a few advantages here still. So, just saying.
Oh, jeez. How many advantages do I have?
Last count was 3, but I don't know if that included the one that you used for your investigation check or not. But you've at least got 2.
I technically have 2. Yeah,
at least 2.
I'll use 1. Which you said dexterity saving.
Yeah, Varl says you have 3 before you use this one, so you'll be down to 2.
Got it. This is baloney. I don't. So, okay. What hits me, Bleak?
Are you using another?
No, what hits me, Bleak?
Bleak?
Or Miko, jeez, because I'm so angry. It's y'all just mix it. What hits me, Miko? What is it?
So you all the rest of you just kind of watch as Bren starts walking around the room, and at one point he walks over to the desk and he just like casually starts moving a few pieces of paper to the side. And as he's flipping some of the papers to the side, a quill made of what appears to be some very, very black, like almost oily covered feather of a bird flies up above the desk and then flings itself tip first at Bren and stabs him in the chest. He takes 8 points of necrotic damage and 2 points of piercing damage.
Honestly, I'm going to be very honest with you in reference to this. It happens. It stabs him in the chest, and he's just like... there's no screaming. He just crumples there. He's just like... I mean, the way the day's been going.
As
quill
you crumple,
sticking out of his chest.
Terathos like immediately leaps over to Bren and just like, I don't have much magic left, but casts a cure wounds spell on him.
No, leave it. I deserve this. It's just fine.
You stop him mid-cast and he just looks at you confused.
I think this would be a good time to go.
I agree.
I'll have Tig carry you if you want, Bren.
No. I'm just gonna
come
walk
on.
out of this tavern.
Tig, Princess carrying Bren.
You know what? Screw it.
Tig just lowers himself
Please.
down and scoops Bren up, Princess carrying him. As he walks past, Terathos stops him and says,
This should be removed from your chest, lest its necrosis infect you more.
and before you can respond, he just like yanks it out of your chest.
Okay, that's fine. It's completely defeated. Like, God, come on.
As Bren, or as Tig carries Bren out, Mira, you can see Terathos kind of holds open his hand and the quill is there, and you can see it under the divine strength of Terathos wilting and turning to ash in his hand. And he just kind of drops the ash to the ground. So everybody departs. Any last minute things anyone wants to do here in this chamber?
I'm not touching shit.
Mira?
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, who don't we like?
Who don't you like?
Yeah, who do we not like that we've met in Kuvalia?
I mean, there was the lady, the
rude-
Madrana lady.
Yeah. I'm not going to do Madrana, but I will do the hot-headed, or I don't remember if he was a Fire Genasi guy. But he was a
Serac?
jerk. Serac, yeah.
He wasn't a jerk.
He was not nice. I will take
That's very
a
different
quill.
from being a jerk.
I will take the quill and I'll write Serac was here. I'm now framing him. Goodbye.
Okay. Sure. Why not? Who is the lady that we kept pushing Wren to sleep with? What? Chat?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Tamra.
Tamra.
Tamra rules.
Yeah, but you liked Tamra.
Yeah.
Anyway. So. You head out of this cursed mine. You venture back into the landscape to return to the city. Your horses are still there, well trained as they were. You are intending to head back to the city, yes? Not to the airship?
Yes.
As you all start getting your horses together and getting ready to head out, you all see Terathos retrieve a scroll from a pouch at his side, and Mira sees the very familiar magics of ascending taking place. You start heading back. Is there anything that anyone wishes to say or do, or do you want me to just fast forward it through to the city?
I guess as we're walking to the city, Wren in Tig's arms.
You're on horseback now. You're on horseback.
Hey, can you go? Oh, we're on horseback now.
Yeah,
That's right. I'm still in Tig's arms on a horse. Ha! I can be chaotic too. No, I'm on a horse. I think Wren rides up to 80 and everything has died down now, so it's probably good they weren't able to have that conversation when he wanted to before. And he just kind of looks at her and go, is that hard to control?
You mean the whole magic situation?
Yeah, where you went and became really powerful. It's the second time you've done it.
Uh-huh. It was hard the first time. It's not hard now. As hard, at least. I felt like I could handle it.
Is that something that only you have available if you're in dire straits, or?
I feel like now that I've felt it, I might be able to access it more.
Okay.
If I choose, I guess.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
This is the first time it happened. It was very dangerous, and then to see you do it again, although it was more controlled, I just wanted to know if this is just something new now that you can do, or if it's one of those emergency things. I don't know what you and your sister are.
I know. We are special. I'll be careful. Is that kind of what you're getting at? I feel like that's the gist of all of this, is that you're dadding me and you want to make sure that I'm not gonna, lose it.
Sometimes I enjoy having a dad moment with you all, but I enjoy it even less so when you go, you're dadding me. That feels icky.
I know. Well, okay. Well, now that you're being weird about it, it's weird. I was mostly just saying.
I'm being weird? You're the one who gave it a weird title. You said I'm dadding you. I'm just trying to
daddy or anything. Jeez Louise.
See, and now it's gotten to a point to where it's
all right.
Now. Anyway, yes. As if you feel like you've had a good control over it, just
I think so.
Or even if you're learning, that's fine.
I know it's a lot.
How's it feel?
Good.
Good.
It feels good. It feels like I'm able to protect the people I love. It feels like I'm able to make things happen. And I think we need that now.
And you're not giving up anything of yourself to do this, are you?
Shit, I don't think so.
Oh, geez, something else to learn.
I'm a little scraped up after all of that, but I don't think it has anything to do with, what I did so much as just getting the shit kicked out of us.
No agreements, no ascendants who are now laying claim onto what you've got going on. Listen, it's just a thing that you do, yes?
Mira reads all of my paperwork before I sign it, so if there was anything, she would know better than I do. That's a joke.
Okay.
I'm kidding,
okay.
But yes.
You're not, but okay. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure.
Thank you. And if I feel like it's too much, I'll let you know, because I know you'll figure out what to do.
I appreciate that. But no, you won't. You'll tell Sisk first. And I'm
sorry, are you jealous that I've been talking to Sisk?
Wren. No, I think I have enough things going on right now, and I'm pretty sure Sisk does not, so they can have that.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm telling, but good talk.
What are you telling? Sisk, I know that the twins prefer to talk to you about personal things over me because I daddy them. See, it's weird.
That's not
like it's what you said. It's what you said.
Nope. Take it back.
I'm wrong.
I just wanna backtrack from that. Let's just keep it moving.
Okay. As long as this is not me daddying you. Oh, God, you said it. It's weird.
All right. If you want to be, I don't know. Look, you felt something back there, right? I felt it for a second. Not to be intrusive, it's just kind of what I do. Sorry.
What are you talking about?
I felt like a flash of something. You kind of, went all misty-eyed, and I just want to check in.
And are you making fun of me? Are you saying that I'm having a senior moment? Is that what you're trying to say?
No,
what's going on?
Back there, there was a moment where you were confused, and I felt like you were searching for something, and then you shut it down really fast. And you don't have to tell me anything if you don't want to, but I just, we're having this moment, and so I figured I should ask.
It was just very frustrating that we couldn't find Wren, especially someone who is capable as they are to just be whisked like that. And it bothered me as I was making my way back. And then once I saw that you all were fine and I could see that Mira wasn't freaking out like they were before, I was okay. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Eat your vegetables. It's me daddying again. Rides off.
Wonderful. Deb, Kay, would either of you like to discuss anything relevant or not on the return trip?
I think I'm just sort of overhearing this take place and just looking over at Sisk and sort of laughing at the exchange a little bit.
Yeah, this is as lighten the mood. I have the passed out cultist, if they're still passed out, on my horse, I guess. But
The passed out cultist?
yeah, the one that I stabilized. After the fight, Sisk freaks out and tried to stabilize one of the cultists.
I completely forgot about
I tried
that.
to stop them, and
Yeah, no, I completely forgot about that, actually. So we will have to retcon a little bit here because that was me not putting that into my notes well enough. Yes, you do have that individual. They are still very much unconscious because they were, failing death saves and all of that. And I think there was probably a moment back in the chamber where Terathos informed you, and they're probably on Terathos' horse right now, where Terathos informed you that you do not want this person to wake up unless they can be secured.
Okay, that's fine.
So,
I'm cool with that.
all right. You all head back to the city. You make your way to the Temple of Vitharion, right? The Temple of the Tempered Soul. It is now well into the evening by the time you make it back. You are all feeling the exhaustion of battle. The adrenaline has long since worn off. The tiredness from riding the horses. None of you are particularly... you all have not really ridden very much in recent months. And so that, means that you're a bit saddle sore by the time you make it back to the temple as well. This being the evening hours, it is worth mentioning that there is a benefit in that the people standing outside of the temple during the day, with their signs and, their vulgarities and such, are not present. And so the temple is much quieter as you make it back. You are, of course, ushered into the temple. As you are arriving, you can see that there are a number of other members of Terathos' order gathering up, preparing horses. You can see that they also have a cart with a number of draft horses as well. Terathos exchanges some words with them. Eventually will come back to you and indicate that they are being tasked to head out to the mine and reclaim it. Anything that they find that can be brought back to us, referencing you and Terathos, they will do so as quickly as they can. As you are back here, Terathos also hands over the cultist that Sisk saved. There's some discussion that takes place. You can see that Terathos puts this individual into the care. I think it was one of the women, if I remember correctly, the flame dagger wielding people, if I recall now. puts her into the care of not paladins, healers. They still seem pretty robust as healers go. You can tell very clearly that they are armed and, ready for what needs doing. But you also can recognize the robes of someone more tasked with the healing arts than the warrior arts like Terathos. Terathos mentions that they will see to that individual's care, and hopefully at some point in the future they will be broken of the cultists' control. He suggests that all of you rest for the evening, either returning to your ship or here if you like. You can be given rooms. They will not necessarily be the most comfortable of rooms. This is not a tavern with that, fluffs pillows and the like. But there are rooms available if you wish to stay here. And in the morning, and he says the name Darren. In the morning, Darren will be retrieved and hopefully prepared to discuss if you wish. What would you like to do?
Staying here tonight wouldn't be bad, right?
I feel like we could all use the rest.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Find a corner. No? Okay. That's fine. I'm gonna go lay down.
Terathos has a few acolytes take you all to rooms. Each of you has your own separate room. Although Tig is not offered a room. I think there's a question of does Tig need to rest, but I'm assuming that Sisk says no, Tig does not need a bed.
Yeah, Tig's good.
So, yeah, no room is made for Tig, but the rest of you are taken to rooms. In a way, and Dev, I would like for you to describe this a little bit too. This almost would be like a homecoming for Mira. She spent a great deal of time, not very many years ago, as an acolyte. So what is this like for her as she is basically shown to acolytes' chambers?
There's definitely a familiarity to it, and it's one that she would have chafed at in more recent memory, having such a complicated relationship with the Ascendant. But she finds herself settling in and being grateful for the familiarity, and it feels almost comforting to her in a way that's surprising and almost a little bothersome that she's comforted by this place, and she sort of chuckles at herself and the continued sort of complicated feeling she has about religion and the Ascendant, and just herself getting annoyed by finding this comfortable and just recognizing her own sort of emotional patterns. But she does find some comfort in this place.
Just before she drifts off to sleep, she hears Phelan's voice in her mind. The Sending Stone. They say, "Are you all right? What's happening? Please tell me you're safe. Did you find Wren?"
Still no Wren. We're back at the temple. We're safe. Hopefully we'll know more tomorrow.
course, they can't do a sending again. But I think that there is a part of Mira that knows what Phelan is likely feeling in this moment, and the lament, and the care. How does sleep find her tonight?
I think that sending left her a little bit restless, and she's finding herself in this space that feels familiar, and she starts thinking of home, and she realizes how long it's been since she's tried to contact anyone. And so I think she relights a candle and pulls her book back out. And she turns to that last page in her book. And she stares at it for a long time before finally writing to Varric.
Her dad.
Yeah.
What does she say?
I just want you to know we're safe. I hope you are too. Things are strange everywhere. I miss you.
As you finish the writing, it's not abnormal for responses to take a little bit of time, because it's not like the normal sending spell, like the sending stones and stuff, that's just in your mind. And so as she finishes writing that out and feels that sense of relief of finally sending a message, because she had been holding off sending anything for probably any number of reasons, but finally sending that message to Varric. And then she starts seeing Varric's handwriting appearing on the page. At first, there's trepidation. There's a whole gamut of emotions that occur from seeing his familiar handwriting once again. And it starts, "Thank the Ascendant. I'm so glad you are safe. And your sister?" There's a question mark. "We are safe too. But things are difficult." And then you see your brother's name, Caden, and just ... Limited in the number of words that can be responded with, but I think that there is a subtext there that Mira might understand.
She writes back, "In some ways, 80 is thriving. More than she could at home. But it's like the whole world is turning.
To pause again, but less this time. Varric says, I am saddened and exalted to hear that 80 is well. Please send more messages. Please. The world is severely in flux. My children are my anchors now. Love you.
Mira shuts her book, and I think she crawls back onto her cot and falls asleep, holding it in her arms.
About the rest of you. Beth, why don't we go to you next? How does sleep find 80?
She has a hard time falling asleep. I think at first, because she feels good. Things are fucked up. There's a lot going on. And so she feels a little guilty for feeling kind of good. But she felt right in her body today. Things felt like they lined up. And she expected Wren to push against that a little bit. But he just asked how it made her feel, and that was it. She wasn't told to tone it down or anything, and there's a spark in her that wants to continue to push that limit a bit, because she wasn't told to hold back, and she's very curious about what all of that could mean. So I think initially when she lays down, that's running through her mind. I do think she would feel the pang of Mira's sending, and maybe not know exactly what she was doing necessarily, but I think she'd have an idea. And with all of that, I think she has, she's able to sleep when she decides that she knows what she wants to do. She's pretty sure of it. They have things that they want to do now, things that they need to do, and so she'll do them. But she has some things that she'd like to do as well.
Disc.
It's been hard. Kuvali has been tough, actually. Sisk's not thrilled about that. It's going to be a hard sleep. I think Sisk, tosses and turns a lot and eventually gets Tig's help and swaddles themselves, basically. and like tries to get as small as they can and just kind of is curled up in a ball, swaddled to shit, and tries to eventually passes out.
A question for you in relation to how comfortable Sisk is here. Because as we've established, that as long as a changeling falls unconscious through their own volition, i.e. sleep, natural sleep, they can maintain their form. Do you think Sisk continues to maintain the serval form that they have taken, or do you think that they revert?
I don't think that they have reverted to regular blue Sisk, at least right now. Serval looking, definitely.
All right. What about you, Wren?
I think when Wren gets to wherever your room they provide to him, he politely is like, "Oh, thank you," and then he kind of stands there and he looks at his hands and he kind of just stands in the middle of the room, kind of rubbing them and trying to see if he can just capture a little bit of that feeling that he had in that moment, that feeling of comfort or home or resonance with people. He has this huge question mark on his head. I think he takes a moment to sit there and try to remember every bit of that, but has trouble because of the blank faces. But the voice is what just rings in his head. I think it gets to a point to where he's so concerned about trying to find the little things and recapture the feeling that he exhausts himself out to where he falls to sleep, and it's not really peaceful, and reverts to a bear because he's that tired. So it's just Big Bear Wren sleeping in this little acolyte room, but it's from stress-induced exhaustion from just that moment, not even everything else that happened. That is what's setting him into this right now.
Need to ask you about the hallucination, because I think that Wren, despite knowing that it was a vision and knowing it somehow was connected to him, because he doesn't know the source of it, his initial reaction would want to push it away as some kind of strange hallucination. How does that impact Wren's dreams tonight?
It's probably a bad choice that I chose to sleep as a bear, but it's rough. Like, I think it bothers him a lot. He's mentally fighting it, and it's translating to Bear Wren trying to sleep. It's like when your dog is imagining chasing something and they're making noises and their legs are flailing or what have you. I think it's that.
Wren has another dream, very similar to what happened to him in the mine. Only this time, he's an animal. First a squirrel, then a fox. He shifts back and forth between these two shapes primarily, occasionally taking either a rabbit or a ferret, or eventually direwolf. But every single time he shape changes, as he's running through this strange, multicolored forest with this bizarre, luminous amount of moonlight of all shades rolling through it. Between each shape, for the briefest of moments, he sees those dark, skinned hands that are his, that are not his. He doesn't know if he's the hunter or if he's the prey in this chase. But he knows there is a hunt happening. Eventually, he startles awake in the bed, soaked in sweat and fur, torn in various places. One of the leg posts has been completely just wrenched out of whatever socket it had been formed into. He awakens, his heart racing. Sun's light streaming in through the window as it just crests the horizon. "80. You bolt awake. You feel your heart racing. You feel your head pounding. And Ian, please describe what emotions that consume 80 through her gift. These powerful, primal emotions. What consumes 80 in this moment?
There's excitement, like very feral excitement that's followed by aggression and a sense of searching, as if something is just looking to present itself, but it's trying to find a way. And then it's just a cycle between that excitement of the search and then the aggression that's leading to the search, and it just keeps revolving back and forth.
80 knows that she's feeling Wren. She's feeling him as strongly as she feels Mira right now. She's never felt the strength of connection with anyone other than her sister before. Right now, in this moment, it is slowly fading in that strength, but for that moment, she felt Wren. Thank you so much, Vox and Quill, for the raid. Thanks, SJ, for popping in. We were talking about you earlier, my friend. Appreciate you. What does 80 do as she is getting control of her gift? Realizing that she has this fleeting connection with Wren.
I think she listens. The way that she listens emotionally when she's connected with Mira. I think that she allows the space to take in the feelings that he's feeling and trying not to interpret them or do anything, because what she knows is colored by her connection that she has with Mira, and the way that Mira feels is different than the way Wren feels. So I think she's trying to just be open to whatever feelings he's broadcasting.
As he gets his primal self under control, those feelings diminish, and the strength of the connection diminishes with them. Give me a Arcana check.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Cool. This is my skill with disadvantage. Oh, yeah. Hot diggity.
Is that a natural one?
Sure is, for a total of 3.
80 is flabbergasted, just rended, just cannot process the notion that she just felt a connection as strong as her sister's. It levels her. I think it levels her so much that this is when Mira wakes up. As we have like a feedback loop that sort of happens. And Mira starts feeling all of those primal feelings that Wren was broadcasting, filtered through 80, and then 80 on top of that is sending Mira just confusion and, the equivalent of, WTFs and, all of this through that connection. What does Mira do?
She gets up and she goes to 80's room. Hey. What is happening?
Just hang on. And you see, like, she's just kind of like, she's got her hands out and then realizes that that's not doing anything. So she just sort of crosses her arms. I'm feeling Wren right now.
Okay.
No, not like I normally do. It's like our connection. Sort of. I don't know if he can feel me though. I should probably ask him. I don't know.
Hey, is the vibes off or anything? No, it'll be fun.
All right, whatever is happening, it was strong enough to wake me up. So
It's completely faded now for both of you.
It's like some fucked up emotional telephone. So you felt it too? Is that?
I mean, I felt you.
Okay.
And there was a lot happening.
Yeah. Is Wren asleep? Just sort of like poke out and look around. Where is he?
He is fully awake at this point. Is he still in the room, or is he stepping out into the hallway at this point? Because he technically woke up before everyone.
Yeah, I think at that point he does step out the hallway. Like it's almost it's so coincidental. Like you step out of the room to look, and he steps out of the room and looks, and he's like, "Morning."
What is happening?
Hopefully breakfast.
No, did you oh god, this is so fucking I felt you know how I can feel people's emotions and there's like a connection and stuff, and I can feel your emotions, but then like I can also feel Mira's emotions, and that's different. That's like a
They're just sisters. Yeah, they're sisters. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt our emotional connection change a
We
little.
don't have one.
Okay, I can feel. You're gonna make this difficult, aren't you?
No, it's what? Like you and your sister have a sister bond, right? So that's
Right.
how you whatever, and then
Yeah,
you just
but-
pick up on other people's emotions because it's just your thing. We don't have a sister bond.
No, we don't have a sister bond, obviously, Wren.
Mhm.
But
Right.
what I'm trying to say is something has changed within me. Something is not the same. There it is. I feel this is different, and I don't know. I figured I would say something because you were asking me about the whole powers thing, and what I'm saying is I woke up because I felt something about you. Did you wake up quickly? I woke up quickly, and then Mira woke up.
80, can I speak to you over here, please?
Yep,
Okay.
she'll follow you.
Hey, I understand when you spend a lot of time with a person in close quarters for an extended period, there are things that may arise, but I do not think that this is yesterday. And what are you like? I get it, but
What are
I
you
don't
saying?
think we're feeling anything. What are you saying? You're saying we're feeling something. We are not feeling
No.
anything. What
Oh
are you
my
talking
God.
about?
Okay.
What's going on? What? And it Pope like looks at Mira. What? Am I missing something? Like, is it me?
Yes.
Like,
Yes,
vibes,
you're missing
Dad.
things. You're adding things. Bren,
how am I adding things? I don't know anything. What are you talking about?
I'm trying to tell you that there's something happening with my magic. The manifestation of my magic is changing, as we discussed
Okay.
yesterday. But the way that it's presenting right now in this moment is that I felt my emotional connection with you that I have with everyone, is different. That's all I'm saying.
You
I
said
don't know.
none of that. You went, we are feeling things and something has
Oh my
changed
God.
in me. And everything you said now, I wish you would have started with that because that makes sense.
I just woke up, man. What do you want? Let's just. You know what? I'm going to go back. And why don't you go back? And then we'll just reconvene with everyone at breakfast and just not talk anymore for a while. Cool? Okay.
Are
Bye.
you sure you're okay?
She's just going to turn and just march back.
I have this
He
I have
looks
this
like
vision
a
now.
mirror.
I have this vision now that Sisk steps out of their room, kind of rubbing their eyes a bit with, like, a pointed, the pointy sleeping caps that, fold over with a little fuzzy ball, and just walks out kind of rubbing their eye.
Brent looks at me and like, what? I don't know what's happening. Do you?
No,
Okay.
just whatever you were dreaming about or feeling or whatever. 80, I don't know, something happened with 80 and it shot through my bond with her, and I don't know. I don't understand it. Were you dreaming? What was happening?
No.
Insight check.
That face. Hold on. Wait.
My passive insight is 17.
Ian.
I'm not gonna get over that look that just shot me. I'm like, what? Shit.
Oh, did you feel something with that look, Ian? Is that look a look?
Ian, me. Wait a minute.
I know. I am familiar.
Like, damn. Damn, okay, yeah,
Okay.
here, take your little inside check. Shit, I don't know how I feel. Today has been weird.
Mira definitively knows that Bren was lying.
Yeah.
I don't. Whatever you're dreaming about, I don't know. I guess I don't care because
Why do you guys want to know what I'm dreaming about? What is going on in here?
because it is throwing your emotions like in front of a loudspeaker, essentially.
Okay, I will temper down my emotions.
It's not. We'll talk about it at breakfast. Have a good night's sleep. And she'll just walk out.
It's morning. It's morning.
Not for Mira.
What is going on here? What is...
Breakfast is acquired along with coffee. Tig provides some coffee for everyone. You sit down, you have a relatively meager breakfast. It's nothing fancy. It consists primarily of like biscuits and sausage gravy and like toast and eggs and the like. You also note that there's like bacon, but it's so ridiculously heavily charred that it isn't identifiable as bacon anymore, which apparently is a delicacy for Dragonborn to eat. So, yeah. Breakfast is had. There's probably more than a handful of uncomfortable looks, a few weirdly phrased statements between some of you. I imagine there's a lot of confusion on Sisk's part, and several moments of Sisk kind of looking at Tig and the both of you just like shrugging your shoulders at each other simultaneously.
I love that Kay shook their head no, like, no, I'm not confused at all.
Eventually, Terathos comes to join you all, and he indicates that Darren is here and awake, and asks if you would like to speak to him. All of you.
Okay.
The group.
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Terathos leads you to a different part of the temple. It's not too far removed from where you had visited before, when you had seen all of the individuals that the temple was caring for the physical injuries of. It's down another hallway. I'm curious how any of you might react to basically being led down a hallway with the equivalent of a bunch of padded rooms. Because that's where you're being taken.
It's where we
Extremely
belong.
apprehensive. Okay. I don't want to go, but I'm going.
As you are led down this hall, it isn't like a horror movie. You don't hear the screams or wails of people or anything like that. It's extremely well lit. It's extremely, well taken care of. And you see a few people, moving about, not under any kind of duress or anything like that. Eventually, you are led to one particular room. The door is already open. And inside, seated on a fairly modest, simple wooden bench, you see a figure. You imagine this figure would be tall if he stood up to his full height. But in this moment, he is He has his knees drawn up into his chest, seated on the bench. He wears only pants. Loose-fitting, comfortable. You see that his hair is long, unkempt, clean, but not cut. The ashen gray of his Earth Genasi skin is broken up with rivulets, almost like the tears that form in the mountain after lava has flowed across its surface. You see a slight glow emanating from those fractures in his Earth Genasi skin. His eyes look hollow. They are unfocused. He's looking up in the direction of the door as you all walk in, but you can tell very clearly that he doesn't see you. Tarathos steps into the room first, but quickly moves off to the side. The chamber itself is decently sized. There isn't really sitting space for everyone, but you're not like crammed into a sardine can in the space. You see him sitting there, and he is mumbling a bit to himself. You hear occasional phrases, clear enough. They are sentences in a way, but also he's speaking in this withdrawn, monotone voice, most of which feels like rantings, ravings, strange combinations of words that make no sense. You start to question whether or not the magic of the ear cuffs that you have that are supposed to translate language for you, whether that magic is failing. If it wasn't for Mira and Sisk actually not having to need those in this moment, you would probably think that you would need to fix them. A couple of phrases that you do hear. Truth is what cannot be remembered. Stillness reveals the shape, the fire. Tarathos looks at the lot of you, and he says, "We rescued him months ago. All attempts to remove the domination of his mind through magic have failed. We can only surmise that what exists in his mind is permanent alteration at this point and not a magical compulsion." You can see the frustration on him, the smoke coming out of his nose, the sparks alighting between his teeth as he grits them. We have tried everything that we are capable of at this point to help him. I realize you may not have any such answers for this question, but I would be willing to entertain any notion that you might have. Perhaps even someone new talking to him can lend
some semblance of aid for the poor soul.
Well, I guess you mentioned that Darren doesn't really register any of us.
He doesn't. His eyes are unfocused, and he's just kind of staring at the doorway. You all have moved to the sides of the room, and the doorway is very clearly visible to him, and he looks upon it, but he doesn't look through it. It's almost like he's looking at it, or seeing something that isn't there, maybe.
I'll sidle up next to them, or start getting a little bit closer, and gently I'm like, "Hi, Darren, can you hear me?"
Do me a favor and roll a persuasion check, Sisk.
Persuasion check?
Mm-hmm.
Right. 16.
With a 16, his eyes remain unfocused, but his head turns in the direction of Sisk, and his eyes shift as if he would be looking at Sisk, but there's no way that he could see you.
Yeah.
And the mumbling stops. No noise. There's this long, heavy pause. And the only way I can describe this as he is as still as a boulder. And then, as if a boulder was cracking under the strain, you see a couple more rivulets in his skin form. But his expression is blank. His head is still lifted in Sisk's direction, unmoving. There's no hostility in what you see. Only the look of someone who has walked through fire and somehow survived it. As you are all sitting there, taking this in, Sisk, all of you can hear it, but it's still barely audible, but Sisk, you hear it fairly clearly.
You know my pain. I hear it in your voice. You know what it is to be controlled.
Yes.
As you say yes, his hands bolt out with lightning speed and grab onto your tunic and pull you in close. And you hear him say, through almost gritted teeth,
"Do not let the emberless flame catch you."
and that's where we're going to call it tonight, ladies and gentlemen.